I feel like it's wrong not to focus on Mikel Merino because he's had an amazing week. He scored again at the weekend. Just what a job he's doing, Adrian. Like you played the game at the highest level. You understand that changing position is not easy. Probably better than any of us.
Yeah, it's just the picture. It's a very simple thing, but the picture you see of the pitch completely changed. I used to move from the left to the right a lot. Sometimes I'd play at 10 or as a striker, and just everything looks completely different. So not everyone can adjust to that as quickly as he can. I mean, Mikel Merino is one of the most intelligent footballers that I think has worn the Arsenal badge for a long time. I just think he's super smart and he can adapt to different situations. And just the way he pulls off defenders, it won't get any headlines, it won't get that many people talking, but it does such a good job for the team. The way he pulls off links play, and then of course what does grab attention is his finishing, and I think he's a terrific finisher as well. Mikel Merino is turning into sort of one of those under the radar signings that you think, thank goodness for that. Yeah, isn't it? I mean, if we hadn't signed him, what would we have done this season and at the back end of last season?
Yeah. I think that between him and Arteta, we've almost kind of normalised not having a single fit striker for such a long period. Like the majority of this calendar year, we've not had a fit recognised striker, and yet it's almost a given that we'll still go into a game away at Chelsea and not lose. So yeah, I think it's remarkable the job they've done. Some of the stats as well around like 70-something% of his goals have come from headers. Also, a massive majority of them have come away from home. Yeah. So, stepping up in those big moments, I just think.
Well, his goal, he pulls off the shoulder of Fofana. He defends really badly. Just gets caught ball watching. But he still pulls off the shoulder of him. For the red card, he makes a run from the other side of the pitch around Caicedo to give Timber an option. And of course, then he sucks Caicedo in and sort of slips it past him to draw that foul, and that's a big moment in the game. There's a lot of subtleties to Merino's game that maybe we were all guilty of not appreciating at the outset. But I mean, I don't know what you think. I just think if someone was to say, right, what is Mikel Merino? What's his position? I'm calling it now. Mikel Merino is a false nine. I think he's better there than in midfield.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that because when I watch him in midfield, I feel like sometimes I don't doubt that he can win duels. I don't doubt the physical side of the game. I don't think he's the quickest across the ground, which can sometimes be exposed in a transitional game when you're playing in the centre of midfield. But I feel like, when he hasn't got a set position, because as you say, it's a false nine role, and he can just look at the game, use his intelligence to kind of interpret where are the best places to be. That's when he's at his absolute best.
Yeah, and it allows him to continue to be creative as well. You look at the Trossard goal against Spurs, the way he drops off, plays that ball through. Yeah, I think it almost is like that role allows him to use the most tools that he's got. Whereas in midfield, I do feel like he can get a bit overwhelmed at times. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many minutes he gets going forwards with Gyökeres coming back, Jesus coming back, Havertz hopefully on the way back too. Does he drop back to midfield or does he just... I don't know. Be interesting. Yeah.
I still think for the time being, he's probably going to share the role with Gyökeres because Havertz, from what Mikel Arteta has said, is still a few weeks away, which makes sense given the severity of the injury. And it kind of falls in line with what Julian Nagelsmann said recently, where he said he had a little bit of a setback. Yeah. That's never really been confirmed from the Arsenal side. But
I also do not like to discuss lengths.
I think Arteta did confirm it today. For the first time, he actually said he did have a setback before. But yeah, sounds like he's still...
But with Trossard and Saliba, I think there might have been a time previously where we might have risked it. They've got a slight problem, but we kind of need you lads. Luckily, we don't. We're in that such a good position at the moment with players in form delivering that we could afford to leave those two out and still not lose the game. So yeah. It's a good place to be.
Yeah. Overall, we're in a great place. Everybody's delighted with the week. I mean, little bit of disappointment at the fact that we couldn't turn 1 point into 3 at the weekend. But as I was saying to you guys before we came in here, when I was at Stamford Bridge on Sunday and the final whistle went and I looked around me and 3/4 of Stamford Bridge was cheering and up celebrating, a place, I know we've had a good record there in the last 5-6 years, but you can remember a time where we were conceding 4s and 5s there pretty much every time we went. And so to look around and see that reaction in a game that Chelsea have picked up a point in, that kind of gave me that reassurance that people take us seriously now. We turn up to places and people fear us. and to the point where a draw feels like something to be celebrating.
Yeah, I expect they were celebrating the performance. I actually think, I've spoken to a couple of Chelsea fans, and there is still an element from their side as well of kind of disappointment that that's the best they've played against us in a long time. It's probably the worst we've played against them in a long time, and they still couldn't get the 3 points. And yes, that's because of Caicedo. But yeah, I think that kind of celebration relative to our disappointment probably does tell you where we're both at.
Yeah, look, if I was a Chelsea supporter, and I'm glad I'm not, I would have been celebrating that because you've just drawn with the best team in Europe at the moment. Arsenal are recognised, I think, by most, not all, but most people, as being the most informed team on the continent, maybe, in the world, really. That means, doesn't it? Just beaten Bayern Munich, who probably were that team. So yeah, I don't blame them for celebrating.
That's it. How times have changed, Dave. Let's talk a little bit about the title race in a more kind of broader context. We're 5 points clear at the top of the pile. Do we agree that Manchester City are still the ones that we're probably most wary of, Rory? Are they the side that you're looking at most closely?
Yeah, I think historically, you just cannot rule them out. You cannot rule Haaland, Guardiola out. I actually think I've been more impressed over the course of the season by Chelsea than by City. Even you look at the weekend, that result against City, against Leeds, they kind of got away with it with that late winner.
Big time.
But you do think, and they think as well, they've got that mentality that if they're still within 3, 4, 5 points going into March, April, they'll be there, they'll turn it on. So yeah, I think they're still the biggest threat. But I do also think, we're in a really strong position in terms of being 5 points ahead of them. They and Chelsea still have to play each other twice. We've got a lot of big away games out of the way. Obviously, Villa's the next big one. But after that, I think it's only City and Spurs left in terms of the big ones. So yeah, I think we're
just City left in terms of tough
ones. Well, yeah, exactly. So no, I think we're in a really strong position, and that's why I think, seeing, obviously you always get the online sort of super negativity off the back of that result. I was thinking we'd have ripped your arm off to be 5 points clear at this stage of the season with the games that we've played so far. So yeah, City probably still the biggest threat, but we're in good shape.
I think I completely agree with what Rory said. I've been much more impressed by Chelsea, but because it's City, you're more worried about City. The reason I'm confident that we can fend off City is that their away form against decent teams has been bang average for over a season now. You have to go back to the start of last season when they won at Stamford Bridge. For the last time they really took a big scalp on the road. I mean, Spurs doesn't count, really, does it? Not with their home record. So in terms of traditional Big Six teams, or even, those at the top end, they don't get very many wins. If that changes over the next 2 or 3 months and they start to go to difficult places and win well, that's when we need to be really worried that City are properly back. But until I see them doing that, I think they're going to drop points.
Yeah, I think they'll drop points as well. And I sort of watched the game at the weekend against Leeds, and I think that impacted in my view on the Arsenal game. Now, if I had just ignored the game and at 5 o'clock jumped onto my live score app and seen that they won 3-2, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But when you watch them look so weak and fallible, having taken a 2-goal lead and then find a way, it's just that it tweaks that thing in the back of your mind, that concern that exists from what's happened in previous seasons.
They're going to win. City, Liverpool, Chelsea, they're going to win games like that all season.
Yeah.
But so are Arsenal. And, we're not going to be brilliant and blow everybody away every week. There are going to be times where we have to grind it out and we nick a late winner and then we're breaking their hearts. So it's the way it is. I think for Arsenal fans, we've just got to try and stay calm and not get too ahead of ourselves and really not worry about what the other teams are doing. Because for me, this season isn't about what City do and Liverpool or Chelsea. It's actually about what we do, and it's about us getting to 90 points. It's like that is the finish line. Can we get there? Yeah. And we've never got there. We're not for many, many years. If we get there this year, we win the league. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of accustomed almost now to mid 90 points being the benchmark. I don't think you look at everyone in the league this season. I don't think you'll need mid 90s to win it. And so it is. It's just about, for us, it's 3 points against Brentford. I mean, Villa away is a very tough game, but even tonight, I think the big difference between this season and previous ones is you know, you look at City going away to Fulham, season's gone by, you'd have gone, that's just one that they'll tick off. Whereas I'm looking at that going, that's a pretty tough game for them. I could see them dropping points there. So, and I think their own fans had kind of got into that mindset as well. And that Leeds game definitely didn't help because a lot of them went, oh no, we really are still fallible.
Yeah.